is a day our region will never forget. Today marks 14 years since the Good Friday tornado ripped through parts of the St. Louis area. The EF4 twister is still one of the strongest tornadoes to hit the bi-state in recent memory. And just like in 2011, this has been an active spring for tornadoes. New here at 6:30, Caroline Hecker checks in with people forever changed 14 years ago after a storm upended their lives.
Well, you're standing in the middle of my house.
An old newspaper is all Terry Hayes has left from April 2011.
This is all the stuff I used to have.
A physical reminder of everything he lost.
I looked where my house should be, and there was just a vacant spot.
He was working at the airport when the storm hit. What should have been a 10-minute drive home took over an hour. As he got closer, reality hit.
I think I sank to my knees in disbelief. It's a feeling that you hope you never experience.
His house, gone, ripped off the foundation. His sons, who lived across the street, left with little more.
You could see all of the highway because there was just nothing left. Just absolutely devastation everywhere you looked.
An EF4 tornado ripped the 21-mile path through the St. Louis region, crossing right through Hayes' subdivision.
Holy cow, that one's just demolished.
In the days that followed, First Alert 4's Steve Templeton was on the ground.
Did your mouth just hit the floor?
That man is Terry's son.
Oh yeah, that's my house right over there in all its glory.
14 years later, we showed Terry that story, the images.
Oh, look at that, all of that wood, and oh my God.
Tough to watch.
People's lives right there.
When I saw the destruction, I thought missiles, projectiles. I mean, there was so much debris and stuck in all sorts of different places.
Amid the devastation, the eeriness of one home sticks out.
That's the stairs to nowhere. I remember this house distinctly. The upstairs is completely gone. There's even part of the railing still in the stairs, but the roof, the walls, the inner walls, the bedroom, the dressers, all absolutely gone.
Much of the neighborhood was rebuilt. Terry and his wife decided to stay, rebuilding the same house with a few tweaks. One of his sons still lives across the street in the house he rebuilt. The March tornado that struck parts of Bridgeton hitting a little too close to home, literally, for Hayes.
This has been a terrible year for people who went through this because I spent a lot of time in the basement.
So what is it about Bridgeton?
I think human nature is, wait a second, we've had a bunch of these tornadoes in this area. There's got to be something to it. It's coincidence.
But those images,
yeah, that's it. Not a wall standing.
remain just as devastating.
Not a wall.
14 years later. In Bridgeton, Caroline Hecker, First Alert 4.
And Terry Hayes says of all the material things that he lost during the tornado, an underwater camera with hundreds of family vacation photos on it. He says that item that he lost stings the most, and so many people lost items that you just can't replace during that tornado.
Yeah.
Steve, obviously you were on the ground there for the Good Friday tornado in 2011. 2011, that was the same year as the Joplin tornado.
Yeah.
What sticks out about that year to you?
So a couple days later after the Good Friday tornado was also the super outbreak. So I was down on the ground surveying damage down there in Tuscaloosa, 368 tornadoes over 3 days. That happened just a couple days after Good Friday. Then jump forward a month later, Joplin happens, and that is an EF5 tornado. So that was an EF4 on Good Friday, but the Joplin was an EF5. 5's the strongest damage imaginable. And you're looking at footage from Joplin. That's the Home Depot there, which was just crumpled. And what this image here from Joplin kind of succinctly shows what I saw. It was almost like a buzzsaw came through and cut anything that was like 15 feet or taller down. It was just like everything that had some height to it had some kind of sheared damage to it, and it was incredible. And again, that was Joplin. So 2011 was one of the worst tornado years that I'll ever experience, hopefully ever experience, and we don't repeat that again. But it did include the Good Friday tornado. And actually, just jumping back a little bit, the New Year's Eve tornado was 2010 New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So that kind of kicked off 2011. Then we get Good Friday here, then we get the super outbreak, and then we get Joplin, among other tornadoes that year. It was a bad year.
In that story, you heard Terry say that, this year has been bad, and every time the tornado sirens go off, he kind of relives those moments back in 2011. It has been a bad season as far as severe weather goes, and we're still still not out of the woods yet. We're in spring storm season. So just remind folks what they can really do to be prepared as the season rolls on.
And an EF2 tornado went very close to that Beaverton Drive area where Terry's at. So I know what he's feeling out there. So here's what you do. Okay, we always tell you, you got two things. One, you got to have a way to get the warning. I'm going to dig into that in a second. And two, you got to have a plan. Just have a plan. Know where to go. Pretty easy if you live in a house with a basement. If you don't, an apartment, maybe you're at church. Think about where you would go when you're at church. Now, as far as having a way to get the warnings, we always say the First Alert 4 weather app's a great tool, and it is. It follows you around. So for Terry, for instance, if he was at the airport, it would warn him when he was at the airport. When he maybe went shopping somewhere, it would show him if he was in a warning at the shopping mall. So that's great, but make sure you have a backup plan. Have multiple apps. Have a NOAA weather radio. So I have one, Corey, in my bedroom, and I have that for the peace of mind, not for me because I'm usually at work, but for my wife.
Sure.
So that when she sleeps at night, she knows this thing is only going to go off for St. Louis County and only going to go off for tornado warnings. So it'll get her up. And then I always tell her to turn on the volume on her phone. Having multiple apps, ways to get the warning, that's the key. If you know something's coming and you know what to do, most likely you're going to be safe.
It's all about being prepared. All right,
Yeah.
Steve, thank you. Well, tonight, the Supreme